Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Kiers Reviews podcast. This is Kiers Reviews, and once again, we have Nick's film reviews with us.
Hello, this is Nick's Film Reviews.
What episode are we at, Nick?
I think Note 3.
3. Oh, this is exciting.
3,
yeah.
We've done 3 episodes. That's so much.
I know. Well, considering the runtime of all our episodes. I just wanted to say, talking about runtime for our Spotify listeners, I apologize for the short 18-minute episode. The RSS feed allowance we have is 2 hours every month. So we will be taking a break from Spotify for a couple of weeks. However, if you'd still like to hear the full version of this episode and future episodes that we record as we wait for renewal, it will be on my YouTube channel at Kiers Reviews. Thank you so much for tuning in once again, and we can't wait to be back on Spotify soon. So today we're going to talk about cinema experiences, movie theaters, whatever you want to call them. So Nick, What do you call them? Do you call them cinemas, movie theaters? What do you like to call them?
I call them cinemas. That's what they're called.
That's what I call them, because I feel like movie theater implies that there's like plays and stuff done because of theater.
Yeah.
I'm like,
sometimes I do refer to theaters, but that's like if I only say that if people know that I'm talking about movies, because I don't go to a random person and say, hey, I want to come to the theaters, because then they're probably going to assume
it's like, we're going to go see a show.
Yeah, stage.
Yeah, let's go see Hamilton or something. Yeah.
Awesome.
Alrighty. Well, that's good. So at least we can clear up. We both say cinemas. So if we say cinemas, we mean the movie theaters. For those people listening, we're going to talk a lot about experiences today that we've had in cinema, both good and bad. Our first movies that we think we've seen. I know that my first movie, so there won't be any confusion there, but Nick's not entirely sure. And then we'll talk about how our list of films that we've seen in the cinema has kind of grown over time, like our first M-rated film, our first MA film in the cinema, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm going to start it off, I think. So I'm going to talk about the first movie I ever saw in cinemas, if that's okay with you, Nick.
Yep, all good.
First film I ever saw in the cinema was a franchise that I really, really, really like as a kid, and I still love it now.
Is it a franchise?
It is a franchise, but I only saw the third one. It's High School Musical 3 senior year. I saw that. That was my first film in the cinema. It wasn't playing for very long, but I love Zac Efron. I didn't
even know it was in cinemas. I thought it was just a Disney Channel thing.
The first two were, and then it went on to DVD and became such a huge hit that it made a lot. I didn't make a lot, but it made quite a bit of money at the box office. So yeah, that was my first movie. I remember I go to Village Cinemas most of the time, and they had a whole different like decorations. They had like lights for stars above the whole cinema, and they had 2 Oscar statues out the very, very front that were like guards to the entrance of the cinema. A lot of people that go to Hoyts as well, they have they had like walk in, make your own popcorn, do your own drinks, that kind of thing. But that's kind of changed now to just
this
candy bar.
For High School Musical?
No, this was just how my cinema that I go to was set up. They had like fake Oscars statues like made out, I don't know, plastic or whatever.
Awesome.
It was actually really cool. And then in between the two Oscars, there's the entrance, but above the entrance were where the trailers would play for different movies coming up. It felt like you were watching movies. Yeah, some of those still exist. They still exist at this cinema that I work at. They haven't moved. But unfortunately now the Oscars are gone. But yes, I saw High School Musical 3 in cinemas. That was my first movie.
$252.9 million US dollars.
No, that's worldwide converted into. Oh, is that how much it made? Is that how much it made worldwide?
Yeah, US dollars wise, yeah.
That's really good.
On an $11 million budget.
Oh wow, that's really good. But yeah, so that was the first movie I saw. There was a scene I remember turning to my mum. I'd never been in the cinema before, had no idea how loud it was going to be, kind of freaked out. But obviously now, the louder, the better. But I remember there was a scene where Zac Efron and Vanessa Hudgens were dancing in the rain, and there was like thunder and rain. And I genuinely thought that it was raining and like there was a thunderstorm outside when it was like a beautiful sunny day. And my mom's gone, no, that's just the movie. I genuinely thought there was like a huge thunderstorm outside and that it was raining. I genuinely thought that. I was so freaked out. I was like, Mom, it's raining outside. She's like, no, it's the movie. I'm like, whoa. So I remember just being like, wow, this is really, really interesting. But yeah, that's kind of, I don't really have much of a story. I think I saw it with a friend who also liked High School Musical, and still to this day, I love that movie, even though it's flawed to hell. I'd love it. It's just one of those guilty pleasure films for me. But Nick, what was your first film at the cinema?
Again, I'm not 100% sure. From what as far as my brain can reach, I think there is a faint memory of me seeing Speed Racer, that pretty bad
Oh,
2008
was that 2008?
Speed
I thought it was
Racer movie.
2007.
According to Letterboxd, it's
Oh, so
2008.
yeah, it was 2008. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, and either it was that, because I think I have a faint memory of seeing some scene in the theater. I have no idea which one, but if it's not that, I do think I did see. Oh, my first choices are terrible. Alvin and the Chipmunks 2,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I think I remember I have a memory of eating McDonald's, getting a toy, and then bringing that into the theater. I think I
Oh,
have that.
nice.
But if it's not that either, then my first choice would have been pretty good. Toy Story 3, which I do remember.
Oh, okay. So you think you saw Speed Racer, Alvin the Chipmunks 2, and then Toy Story 3. Wow, so there was a lot
Toy
of
Story 3 onwards, 100% certain.
because I remember I don't know whether you've seen any films in 3D when you were younger, but my first 3D film was Monsters vs. Aliens.
That would have
And
been
that
wow.
was really cool in 3D because it was the first like animated film that was made for 3D. So it was like a properly well done 3D film. But I remember we never went to any 3D movies after that for like years because my brother had motion sickness. So yeah, he usually watched the movie without the glasses a lot of the time. But I loved it. I thought that was a good movie. But
Did you ever have you ever seen another 3D movie since then?
Yeah, I've been to a couple. I saw Phantom Menace in when that was re-released in
Oh,
2012.
I wish I saw Star Wars re-released, but I haven't.
They
Because
only well,
haven't.
they only did the first one, and then it didn't make enough money because the 3D, it was literally only the Star Wars crawl at the very beginning that was proper 3D. The rest of it, I could have taken off my glasses and watched in 2D. That's how bad it was. And then they got flack for it for not being 3D basically at all. And so they didn't end up, they were going to re-release Revenge of the Sith, which is one of my favorite, and it was going to be on October 9th, which is my birthday. So I was like, I'm so excited, Revenge of the Sith, I'm going to go see it for my birthday.
They took it out.
And then they cancelled all of it. They cancelled all the remastered and put all that as the budget for Force Awakens. So I had to wait another 3 years for Force Awakens to come out. And granted, it was worth it. The Force Awakens I saw in 3D, and that was awesome.
Yeah, I saw that in 3D too, which was, I think I would say, my favorite cinema experience I've had.
Oh, it was Force Awakens in 3D?
Well, yeah, it was also like the most money spent on a cinema experience for me because at Village there's something called Gold Class.
Yes.
Which I did go to. And that was my first Gold Class.
Oh, wow.
And it also bumped it up to 3D.
Oh, okay.
And that was also like, that was like, and it was also the first rated M movie I saw in a cinema.
Yeah.
And it was just wow, it was life changing.
Yeah, I think I've seen the 3D films I've seen is definitely Monsters vs. Aliens. Sorry, I'm just looking for my list. I have a list of all the movies I've seen.
Yeah, I'm looking
because I actually like genuinely remember the movies and what order I saw them in. Monsters vs. Aliens. I'm trying to think what else I saw in 3D. I saw, oh man, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I definitely saw that. I don't know, but I think I saw Epic in 3D. That I don't even remember that movie very much. It was very weird.
What even I
didn't like that at all.
I don't remember anything about it. What was it about?
I don't even know. I hated it. I remember it was the first movie I properly hated at the cinemas. Like it was bad. But I know that the first Gold Class I saw was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the reboot.
Oh.
I didn't at the time, I was not a film buff. I enjoyed that movie to hell. I loved it. But then now I'm like, yeah, this movie sucks.
Wow.
But then then I saw, after taking such a break between Epic, the next one I saw was Force Awakens. Then I saw Rogue One, which was because I think the Star Wars movies were just Absolutely
How was
amazing in
that?
3D.
How was that Darth? How was that Darth Vader scene in 3D?
Oh, I think I was actually hyperventilating because of how good it was. And then seeing Leia at the end of it, oh, I think I died then and there.
CGI Leia.
It was so good. Well, it didn't look fantastic, but it still was pretty good.
Yeah.
Other 3D movies I have seen. Solo, a Star Wars story. I feel like they're all Star Wars movies because they're just so good in 3D. I've got to
Yeah,
be
they
honest,
are.
they all feel like they're in 3D.
I know.
And then I took a big break from 3D movies until I became a film buff. And then I think the next 3D movie I saw was Gemini Man with Will Smith, and it's all about Will Smith
Oh.
versus robot Will Smith. And the reason I went to that session specifically was because they said it was made for 3D and it was 60, I think it was 60 frames per second, or it was some ridiculous frame rate. And it moved way too smoothly in terms of that it felt
Oh.
unrealistic. So it was like a great experience, but I was like, damn, I
Yeah,
really don't.
I
It was
love
too smooth, way too smooth.
yeah, I love watching clips or some parts of movies where I never knew what it was before, but like when I watched the first Avengers movie, that
Yes,
movie moves so smoothly, and I remember watching looking at it for the first time. I was like, why does this look weird? No, why does this
it
look
didn't.
good weird? Why does it look so good?
It
Why is
looks
it
weird,
moving
but it
a
looks
weird way?
fantastic. That's
Exactly, and
what
I
that. But
wish
then
like a lot of movies had that.
Gemini Man raised the bar for that, and I was just like, oh, this actually is way too smooth that it doesn't feel like, even though you're watching action sequences, it was way too smooth for it to feel like, oh my gosh, this is like, I'm enthralled in this. So I was really disappointed with that one, but I was glad I saw it anyway. Some of the more recent movies I saw, sorry. I went to IMAX as part of a school excursion
Oh
early
yeah.
2020, and I saw Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker in 3D in IMAX, which at the time is the biggest cinema screen in the world. So that's a huge thing to go to
I
IMAX. And
still have not gone to IMAX. I want to go to IMAX.
I think
I
I'm going to
remember
go to
once
IMAX for Spider Man No Way Home. I'm so
that'll be
excited for
cool.
that. That'd be so cool.
I remember when I went to go see, I think it was Toy Story 4, I learned that uh IMAX near us was playing the first Back to the Future, and I told my dad about it. It's like, oh yeah, we should go see that.
Yeah.
And we didn't. And I don't even know
Oh,
if I can't tell if they even had like I think they only had like two showings of it or something, but it looked I just want to go
yeah.
to IMAX, but I'm also worried that apparently it's like very loud, which
It is
I don't
very
know
loud,
if
but
I don't know if I could take it.
well, the thing is,
But
oh,
and else,
you would be fine. Cause like, in Rise of Skywalker, the opening scene with Palpatine,
yeah,
just his voice made the chairs like shake. Like that's how booming it was. Like it was so, I remember just being like, oh, I'm so into this. This is such an experience. That's why I love IMAX. But the next one I want to talk about, this was my first 4D film, and it was with you, Jumanji: The Next Level. That was
oh yeah, that was
I have a
also my
mixed
first 4D.
I have a mixed
Well, not
experience with that one because my chair, didn't work. It didn't
didn't you
move.
switch chairs?
I switched chairs like halfway through the movie because I realized you guys were my friend, you and my other friend, were moving and getting sprayed and everything. I was getting sprayed and I could feel the air because that was just in the cinema. But like my chair wasn't moving. And I was like, what the hell? This is crap.
Oh,
I'm not
it
being
was
able to move.
fun though.
It was
Like
fun.
I remember the scene where um they're all in the car and like the is it
The emus,
I don't
yeah.
even
And then
yeah
like
they're like they poke their car and you feel like this thing of air shoot at your neck
yeah, because all the
and
fans that were in the cinema were
yeah
shooting at full blast. Like
and the one scene
I remember feeling really excited about the start of the movie because when they go into the game, all the whooshing and stuff when it's all green and everything, the fans were like on full blast. Like it was
yeah
so
I didn't
exciting.
yeah and one other thing that I thought was actually pretty cool was that whenever they would zoom in on a character, even
Yeah,
that, like the chairs would move back or forwards. And I'm like, oh, okay, you're doing that, but that's pretty cool.
yeah,
And the one thing that I was looking forward to the most was that scene with the monkeys and the bridges because I
that
was
was
like, oh,
pretty
okay,
cool.
that's
And
probably
because it
gonna be
was
insane.
swinging, that because by that point I was in a new chair, so I was lucky enough to still be sitting with you guys. But
Yeah.
the monkey scene when the bridges swing, the chairs swung as well. I thought that was so much fun. Oh my gosh. Like I think the experience of watching that movie in 4D was better than the movie itself.
Yeah. And
Oh,
my other friend went to go see. He's told me he went to go see the Rise of Skywalker in 4D,
how'd
and
that go?
he said that was insane. Like that scene with her on that one planet, I forgot its name, and they fight over the water. There was like, of course, water being sprayed.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he also said that during the final battle on Exegol, the cinema lights would flash a bit. And
Really?
when he told me that, I was like, I mean, yeah,
I
that's
don't
cool,
like that
but
very
there's already enough flashing in the
in
movie.
the
You
movie.
don't
We
need
don't
it.
need more lights. Like I get the
Yeah,
experience, but like really, I think that might be a step
yeah,
too far. And then the
yeah,
final movie, I haven't seen many movies this year because, as I announced in my Billie Eilish review yesterday,
yeah.
unfortunately, I've been fighting cancer for about 11 months. So I haven't been able to see movies as much as I've wanted to in the cinemas this year. Granted, have been in lockdown a lot, but still, even so, I missed out on a lot of movies that I could have
Mhm.
seen if not for the cancer. But the final
I've only
3D
seen
movie,
three.
you've only seen 3 films this year. Well, fair
Yeah,
enough, because we've been in lockdown so much, like the
and last
majority
year,
of this year.
yeah, I'm looking at my list now. Last year, I also saw three.
Oh wow, okay.
Wow.
I was lucky
Yep.
enough to get to see a lot of films, but a lot of the films I've seen this year were because in the hospital that I'm in, there's a Hoyt cinema
Built-in theater.
that's there. But they only play kids movies. They've only just because I sent them an
That
email. I sent
sucks.
because I think it's Hoyt's Chadston that runs it in terms of like projecting the movie all the way to the hospital. And I sent them an email. And I said, guys, I know that you guys are projecting kids' films, and I said I absolutely love that. I get to see movies I never would have watched before. This is fantastic. But I was like, there's so many teenagers that are on this in this hospital as well that don't want to see like Tom and Jerry or you know Onward or whatever or Spirit Untamed or something. I was like, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no. I said, can we please just have even if it's like later on in the day, can we have a second movie, but just for the teenagers? And they didn't respond. They didn't say anything. I got no news. And then suddenly I see this month they're playing Fast and Furious 9. And that's like the first M film in the history of.
Did you go see that?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I'm probably going to see it next week.
Oh,
I'll probably see it next week. So I've seen F9. I've seen it before, like because it came out. I think it came out on DVD. Has it?
yeah.
It was
And
available
apparently
for
there's like a
rent. I might
director's
have.
cut.
Yeah, the director's cut apparently is only 3 extra seconds. So I think that's the biggest ripoff.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'm like, you know what? As much as I hate the movie, I'll go see it in the cinemas because I feel like the cars would be cool. It's like Jumanji. Don't like the movie, but I feel like the
Yeah.
experience in the cinemas would be pretty damn cool. And I've
Yeah.
never seen a Fast and Furious movie in the cinema. So sorry, I feel like I'm taking over the
No, it's all right.
conversation.
I don't have lots of stories. You have more than me.
No, it's all right.
You've seen like 1,000 movies in cinemas. I've only
I think
seen.
I've seen
I've only
two.
seen 76.
Yeah, I've seen 209. I'm just very lucky. I
Yeah, I'd
think
love to go to the
because I
theaters a
for the
lot
people
more.
that know me, I work at a cinema. I'm not going to disclose the location, but I work at a cinema and I get free tickets to movies, which is great. So when I didn't have
Yeah.
cancer, so a couple of years ago, I'd see a movie like every weekend. So I'd get
I
to see all the new
attempted
releases.
I went for a job at a cinema in hopes that if I did get it,
Yeah.
it would be a great job and I could go to the movies a lot.
Mm,
But that didn't work out.
yeah, unfortunately. It just sucks, man. But
Yep.
yeah, I'm just gonna go through the ratings of movies that I've seen. So the first
Okay.
G-rated film that I saw was High School Musical 3. And then I don't know, is Monsters wait. Oh yeah, and then the
Didn't
first movie I saw that was PG was the next one, Monsters vs. Aliens. First M-rated film I saw,
Teenage Mutant Ninja
uh
Turtles.
probably not.
Was that
I
M?
think yeah, that was M. But no, no, no. Amazing Spider-Man 2 Rise of Electro was my first M-rated film in the cinema. And I and then I
That
and
would have been
then I
cool.
was that was really cool in cinemas. Like I'll admit, VMAX for that was
Boom,
nuts.
boom, boom.
The music was good in that as well. I know a lot of people hate it, but I just personally like. I'll rewatch it soon because of Spider-Man No Way Home. But I enjoy that movie. I might lower my score. Who knows? But then the next films I saw were like all M. I was like, I'm done with kids' movies. I still got brought to them. So like movies like Inside Out, I didn't like because I was like, I'm so much older now. I want to watch M-rated
Oh,
films.
I don't like that movies. I don't like that movie either. I think it's so overrated.
Yeah, me too. But there's then I saw like X-Men Days of Future Past, which is still to this day my second favorite X-Men movie. The only one
What's
that
your
beats
first?
it, Logan. But I don't know whether you
Oh
count
yeah.
Logan as an X-Men film. I personally do. But if you're talking specifically about X-Men movies, Days of Future Past takes the cake. That movie, oh, it was the first visual experience where I was like, oh, wow, that was really good. And then I think I saw like Maleficent, then I saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then I finally realized my favorite book series at the time was Hunger Games, and Mockingjay Part 1 was coming out. So I was, yeah, very, very excited about that. But what about, and then I think my first MA, I went and saw Logan, and I was so happy that I got to see Logan in cinemas. That was amazing. Still haven't seen an R18 plus movie because I'm not 18 yet, so fair enough. But if they re-release Mortal Kombat, I hope can go see Mortal Kombat. I think that'd be the first one I'd want to see in
I
R18.
don't think they would release that. I don't
If
think they would release that.
no, I
They
don't think they
might.
will.
You could do Pulp Fiction if they.
Yeah, I
That's
could.
possible.
Because what's it called? The Suicide Squad, the James Gunn movie that we were talking about last
Ah,
episode,
yeah.
that was originally R18 plus in Australia, but now it was, and then a lot of people reported it and said why, because you're giving us no reasons as to why it's R18 apart from the
Yeah, and they
violence.
probably wouldn't make. They
And
wouldn't
they
make as much money
no,
as they
and
possibly could.
the movie never came out really. They had 3
Yeah,
sessions, and then it was
no.
like
So now
done in
it's like, oh,
Australia. So like we
yeah,
had to watch it on iTunes. But then people raged against the Australian Classification Board and said, "Hey, you're not giving us an explanation as to why you've made this movie R18. Can you please reconsider and possibly bring it back to MA15 plus?" And they did. And they said the only reason we're rating it MA15 plus is because even though it's highly violent and it's sexual and it's got coarse language in it, it's all for comedic. It's all for like a comedic
yeah.
tone.
Effect.
So, and I'm
Yeah,
like, wow, that was, you didn't get that the first time. You didn't think it was very
yeah.
comedic the first time. Like what? But yeah, but that turned out to be complete waste of time because oh, I guess it's only Australia, it's only Victoria and New South Wales that are in lockdown at the moment. Maybe even Queensland as well. But everywhere else is open, so I'm guessing they're able to see the movie. Whereas unfortunately, I had tickets opening night to see it, and I got turned away because of lockdown. So I understand why lockdown's happening. I completely get it, but it's disappointing nevertheless. But
Yep.
yeah. What about you? What M-rated films were your first ones? MA?
Well, my first M-rated movie was The Force Awakens, which was awesome. I saw it twice. Second one was
Nice.
just normal. Second one was just a normal cinema though.
Mm-hmm.
My second one was Batman v Superman, which was
Nice.
at that time it was on my birthday. I saw it on my birthday, and I remember thinking how it was quite loud actually, and it was a normal theater, but I was also young and my ears were a little sensitive.
Fair
And
enough.
later that year,
Yeah.
I saw Suicide Squad,
Oh yeah.
and I remember I did have a plan to see it on one weekend, and I actually went to the cinema, and I was about to make my about to go get my ticket. But I was
Mm-hmm.
at a young age. I was at a young age then, and I
Yeah.
wasn't that big of a fan of horror. And I don't know why I chickened out so bad. And it's so embarrassing to tell this, but I remember seeing a poster for Don't Breathe,
Oh
and
yes.
just and I looked at that poster, and it kind of spooked me a little bit. But I was also thinking, that's I feel like I'm gonna probably end up seeing that trailer, and I don't know. I really hate myself for doing this, but I chickened out
Of
of like
what?
that
What movie? Sorry.
of seeing Suicide Squad.
Oh,
I don't
you.
know what. Just it's just the freaking Don't Breathe poster. I don't know why I was such a wuss. I
No, that's okay. It's fair enough. You were
chickened out,
young,
and
dude.
I know, but I still, I hated myself for doing that. And I told my parent, oh yeah, I don't feel well. I'm just gonna just go home.
Oh,
And that kind of, and that
you
kind of,
didn't see Suicide Squad 1
no,
in
I did,
cinemas. Oh, you did in the
I
end.
did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because and then that got delayed for a few weeks, and every time I had a plan on a weekend to watch it, one of my parents would say, "Oh, how about you go see it this other weekend?" And that kind of like had a streak. So
Oh,
every
okay.
weekend it kept getting delayed, pushed back, and then finally, I think it was in September when it was like starting to approach that time where
It's
it's gonna get
ending.
taken out. I
Yeah.
went to I went to a village, and I saw it, and yeah, I liked it then.
I
I thought it
loved it
was
back then.
actually I thought it was actually kind of short when I saw it though. I
Yeah, I
don't know
felt like they could
why.
have been more.
Yeah, because
Uh,
it's like they set up for 40, they take 40 minutes to set up characters, not even that well. And
yeah.
then they're in the city for like an hour and that's it.
Mm. I don't know.
And then after
I
that was
feel like
Rogue One.
that's why I'm waiting for the Ayer cut to come out, hopefully, because I know it's nearly done. He said it's 95% done. There just needs some more visual effects and then it's finished. Like he can release it in about like 3 weeks, he said, if he wanted to.
Uh,
So I'm disappointed about that, but hopefully we get it like the Zack
mm.
Snyder cut. Um, what about your first MA 15 plus
Oh,
film?
first MA was it when I
Yes, the
was
first one.
when I was 12. I had someone over 15, and I remember in the theater there was, I'm assuming was a nine. He looked like a 9-year-old, and I'm surprised like how is this kid in here?
Yeah.
And of course I was young, and that movie was even in a normal theater. I don't know if they crank up the volume for horrors, but it was insanely loud. Like in the title card,
Yeah.
there's
Oh, that was
you
the
hear
movie.
voices. Yeah, you hear voices of children screaming, and then like
Yeah.
and yeah, that really hurt my ears.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's the movie. I was the exact same. That was just the movie. That wasn't anything to
yeah,
do. The movie that was probably the loudest for me was either Tenet in Gold Class. That was very loud. And The Dark Knight. I saw The Dark Knight a couple months ago, which was
that would have been
amazing.
awesome.
That was sick.
Tenet wasn't that loud for me. It sounded a bit
For me,
normal.
it was like it was opening session. Like it was first session,
Yeah,
first day reopening cinemas since this first lockdown. So I was like really excited to see it. And then like the first scene is like a gunshot straight away. I'm like, oh
yeah,
crap, this is really loud. But then mum and I really got into it and we're like, okay, this is actually loud, but it suits the film. But yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, so that's I think, yeah, my first MA was Logan. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, you were talking about it, right? So
yeah.
as a cinema employee, I have to restrict people from going to see movies sometimes. And that's, as much as it hurts me, I have to do it. It's my job. I don't want to get sacked because I love my job.
Yeah.
And I haven't worked there in a while because of my cancer, and I really want to get back soon. So hopefully I go back soon. But when It Chapter 2 came out, so many little kids went with their parents. I'm not kidding, because the thing is, for people that don't know what MO 15 plus and what the restrictions are for it, if you are under 15, you are allowed to see an MA 15 plus movie, even though it's restricted, as long as you're with someone that's over 18. They have to be over 18 to bring you in a movie that is MA 15
Isn't it
plus.
over 15?
No, 18.
Oh,
Yeah, I made a mistake of saying 15 before. It's 18. Sorry. But yeah, just clearing that up. That's what happens. So all these mums and dads were taking their like 9-year-olds to It Chapter 2. And arguably, It Chapter 2 is a bit more violent than the first one. Like It 1 had more horror and it was a lot scarier. But It Chapter
and
2
better
was
CGI.
better CGI. But It Chapter 2 was so much more gory than the first one. And I was like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I can't restrict you from going to see it. You're with your parent. You can go in. But I was like, why? I was like, why would you bring your kid that it like looks like hasn't even started school yet to this horror film about a clown who kills people? Like, it's not a particularly kid-friendly movie. So I remember doing that. But I have a really, really funny story, because R18 plus movies, it is restricted to 18 and over. Cinemas can get fined heaps of money if they if like a, what's it called, like a officer of whatever, I don't know, goes into the cinema and sees an underage person in an 18 plus movie, we can get in big trouble. And I had to make sure when Hellboy came out, that nobody that was below 18 could go see the movie. So that I had this father and this son who were desperate to see the movie. Obviously, they thought trailers were great. I was the same, couldn't see it. And I said to them, "Oh, how old is your son?" And he goes, "Oh, he's 15." I said, "Unfortunately, I can't let him in." I said, "I can let you in, and he can go see another movie." So I was like, you know what? I'll be nice. You know, you don't want to be rude to any customers at all. You want things to be as peaceful as possible. I said, unfortunately, he can't see the movie. And he said, yeah, but he's like, oh, but I'm with my son. I'm going with him to see it. I said, 18 plus is restricted to 18 and over. And
I'm with him. I'm with him. I'm with the son. Yeah, sure. I can do it, man. Come on, sure.
I said to him, I said, I'm just going to level with you here, mate. I said, I'm below 18. I can't even go do cinema checks for this movie. Like I can't go in and check that everyone in the auditorium is okay. So that's why I have to get my managers or, people that are older than me that work there to go look at those movies. And then he still didn't want to borrow it. He thought it was a piece of crap. He swore at me. And I was like, oh, well, you can get a refund. The movie hasn't started yet. You have time to go get a refund and see a different movie. Well, they chose a kids movie, right? It was like G-rated and it was in V Junior. And they go, I'm like, yep, that's fine. Go, you're in V Junior on the other side of the cinema. Obviously, they had looked at their ticket for what cinema Hellboy was in. And the little kid goes, oh, I need to go to the bathroom. And then the dad goes, oh, yeah, I'll come with you. I need to go as well, which is on the other side where the Hellboy cinema will be. So they go, and I'm not kidding. One of my managers was cleaning a cinema directly opposite the Hellboy cinema. So I radioed quietly. I was just like, hey, there's a father and son that are trying to get into Hellboy. They've just said they need to go to the bathroom. Can you just go out and just see? And I'm not kidding. By the time they responded, they were walking out of the cinema as they were walking into Hellboy and literally caught them going in. He said, you've betrayed our trust as people that have been coming to the cinema. You have not listened to the employees that have said, go see a different movie. You've completely betrayed, the trust of us employees. And we've caught you sneaking into a movie. But I remember it was just like, wow, are you serious? Just because you want to see an R18 movie that, granted, Hellboy wasn't good. That wasn't a good movie. It got bad reviews. But I just hate the amount of people that just crap on and then, not threaten, but like swear at employees. It's not our fault. We didn't rate the movies. It's the filmmaker's, vision to make it R18, and then it's the classification board that rates it. So it could have been MA15 plus, but because of how violent it was R18. So it's just annoying, I guess. But let's move on to good things. Let's move on. What is the best experience in a cinema that you've had, Nick?
Oh, Force Awakens. Because obviously the gold class in the 3D, the most money probably I've ever spent. Well, no, I didn't buy it, but probably the most money my parents ever spent on a movie for me, which I was so grateful. I remember before I left to even go to the theater, my parents said, "Oh yeah, we got a gift for you," and they just gave me a Star Wars shirt to take to. And I was like, "Wow, this is awesome."
That's really cool.
And of course, and I got into the Star Wars movies that year, and I was just super hyped. I remember, I don't know if I was nervous or if I was just so pumped out that my legs were shaking before I even got into the theater.
Oh, you're kidding! You were that excited about it, really?
Yeah, my dad looked at me. He's like, "You're all right, man. Your legs are shaking." And I ordered. I don't know what for food I ordered, but it was probably good anyway. And that experience, just that luxury of
was
that
so
cinema
nice.
I know. I remember I walked in during the Jungle Book trailer, which is I guess was all right.
Yeah,
to see.
That's so cool. Yeah, I think my favorite, I've got two. I can't choose. I love them for different reasons. The first one was Minari, and this was in February this year because it came out late. The reason I loved Minari so much, even though I was in gold class and I was having a good time, it was the first foreign movie I ever saw in a cinema. And I feel like seeing a foreign film in the cinema and a movie as good as Minari, it really struck me. Like it really, even though it was a mix between, I think, Korean and English language, it was such an experience. I was like, wow, this is incredible. And so I was like, you know what? I'd rather see these low budget movies in the cinema and support them than go see blockbusters. Like as much as I'll go see every Avengers movie and I'll go see every DC movie or Star Wars, I'll still go see them. I want to make more of a point when cinemas reopen of seeing lesser known films, even if they're not foreign. I feel like they're a really unique experience that not many people have. And many people with like Minari, never heard of it. And I'm like, oh, it's a foreign film. And they're like, no, I don't care. It's different language.
And they don't care to see it just because it's got subtitles.
Yeah, it strips from the experience. But this one, I think you'll kind of expect. I loved Rocket Man. Rocket Man is one of my favorite movies of all time. I adore it. And I saw it I saw it 4 times in the cinema. And the 4th time I saw it, it was a rerun, and it was a
sing along.
It wasn't a sing along. That was when it was still playing. It was just a rerun. They just brought it back for an encore screening. And I was like, you know what? I've got free ticket. I'll go see it by myself. The cinema was empty. Like it was empty.
I remember you invited me to that, but I think it was a day where I had a half day at school.
Yeah,
My
you
parents
did.
were working, and my grand picked me up, and I would have asked, but I knew that would have been just too much stuff for them to do, and so
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, I remember
But
inviting you to
yeah,
that, but because you hadn't seen, did you see Rocket Man in the cinemas?
no,
No, okay. But yeah, I just remember being in the empty cinema by myself. I did not care. I think I won like a competition for Rocket Man, and I got like a hat. I got a bag that was like a tote bag for Rocket Man. I got the CD. I got the I think I got the DVD, and then I gave it away at film club. But then I ended up buying the steelbook for the movie. I've watched it. I think I've seen Rocket Man 15 times now. And the fourth time I saw it in cinemas it was completely empty. I had the whole cinema to myself. I could cheer, I could clap, I could sing, I could do whatever the hell I wanted as long as I stayed in my seat, of course. I've got to be, respectful of the cinema. But yeah, that was so good. What about a bad experience? What's a bad experience that you've had with being in a cinema?
bad experience. I I don't really have like an experience that I've like been just hated.
I don't
I
mean
think the
like
first movie yeah.
I don't mean like disappointing as in like, oh, the movie was bad. I mean like
Yeah,
the
I know
patrons like
that.
that were in the cinema like complaining and or like
I've had
being rude or something.
I've never had one that's like been terrible, but definitely had a few. I remember the first movie I saw in the cinema this year was Godzilla for First Kong.
Oh yeah.
And I actually got kind of triggered watching that movie, not because of the movie, but because of some of the audience.
What'd
And
they do?
it was the first time I went to a cinema since Tenet, and I was actually excited to be in a cinema again. But there were obviously people come in late, and I understand that, and they do actually grab at their phones, but that's the fine where they sit. But I look across the theater, I see some people just chilling on their phones throughout the movie.
It's just
There's a
annoying.
kid,
It's distracting.
yeah, there's an 8-year-old kid behind me who throughout the movie gets off his seat, even starts talking quite loudly. And one, why would you bring a kid that young? Two, how is he not scared because of volume? And three, just please teach him some manners. And then at
Yeah.
the end of the movie, when it was done, in front of me, there were a group of teenagers.
Oh man.
And as everyone's walking out, these teens, they just start vaping in the theater.
Oh,
And
what?
it got me just so frustrated.
That's so
I
annoying.
guess, yeah, I guess that's the closest I've been to a bad cinema experience. It wasn't terrible. Like I still watched the movie and enjoyed it, but just that audience, just some stuff of it triggered me. I
Yeah.
remember once when I saw Solo. This is a tiny thing. There was
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think it was Solo. There was a girl, an 7-year-old girl or something, wearing those shoes that every time you take a step it lights up.
Yes.
Yeah, she was wearing one of those, and I'm like, why are you wearing those shoes in
In
a
a
cinema?
cinema. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
like, and she had to go to the bathroom, and I just see the thing light up. Oh,
Oh. I have about
yeah.
four really bad
Oh yeah, can't wait to hear.
experiences.
Go
First
ahead.
one I want to talk about. I'm a big fan of the Happy Death Day movies. Like, I don't know why, I just really enjoy them. And I was really excited to see Happy Death Day to you, and went in the cinema, fully sold out. I was excited. We are going to have a good audience. We're going to have some cheers. We're going to have some, laughs, whatever. Really excited. The entire movie, the entire hour and a half, these teenagers were yelling at the screen and saying like, "Oh, that's predictable. Oh, that person's gonna
Like
die."
a whole like, but both boys and girls, or
Yep, both.
only boy?
And I'm like,
Oh no!
really? And I'm like, I'm trying to
What
enjoy
was they
this movie, but
screaming?
they were just screaming. They were just yelling out random things. They didn't care.
Oh,
And I'm like, I don't know how. I didn't want to make a scene, but dude, I was getting so angry because it was the whole movie. So I didn't properly see Happy Death Day to You until it came out on Blu-ray. And I bought it on Blu-ray and watched it. I was like,
damn.
I don't remember any of this. But that was one of the bad ones. Another one was, this is not as bad. I saw a movie called Dark Waters in cinemas because I had the choice between seeing that or I Still Believe. But then I Still Believe was cancelled for some reason in terms of the session. So I was like, okay, while Mum's shopping at the shops, I'll go see Dark Waters with Mark Ruffalo. and I'm sitting in it. There's not many people. There's like two other people, and then there's a whole group of teenagers behind me, and they were eating like a full-on watermelon. They were eating
What
a
they
full
cut it and
freaking.
everything?
No, they didn't cut it. They just scooped out of the bloody
How did they
watermelon.
get that? How do you get that? Aren't you like not allowed to bring stuff in the theater?
No, and I don't know how they got past.
How'd they sneak it in?
I don't know. I
Probably pretend to
genuinely
be
did not
pregnant or
know it. That
something.
didn't even cross my mind when I was there. And they're like eating it, and they're obviously bored by the
And
film
Did you
because
hear,
they've
did you hear the
probably
water?
just. No,
Did you
I
hear the
didn't.
slurping?
Oh yeah,
Oh.
some of them did. But then what annoyed me the most about them, not that they were eating a watermelon, but they started just obviously they were bored. They were so bored during the movie, which is fair enough. People can find that movie boring. I have no objections to that. I loved the movie. I thought it was great, but I was really into it. And they start talking to themselves, like whispering loudly. And then they just did it for the first 30 minutes of the movie. And then they gave up, left all their rubbish there. They had heaps of rubbish, popcorn, drinks, watermelon, all of it. And they left it there as a complete mess and left about 30 minutes through the movie. So I was pissed off that they left mess for the cleaners. But I was so glad that they left. I was so annoyed. Just trying to think of the other one. I know that this one's very recent. I was actually going to put it at the start of my Black Widow review.
Oh no.
This was when I saw Black Widow. This is the last movie I saw in cinemas in August, I think. And I'm not kidding, I saved myself from watching Black Widow on Disney Plus, didn't see any spoilers, wanted this to be a big thing because I shouted my whole drama class to go see Black Widow. Like I gave them all free tickets to go see it. We all went together, sat down. It's fantastic. They're not even teenagers. They were probably year sevens. They were probably even younger than that.
That's
And
the
they were
worst.
sitting down and they kept laughing. They kept talking super loudly. And then about I can't focus on this movie, right? I was in and out of it. So I need to watch it again because I didn't fully grasp what was happening in this movie. And then at one point I got so angry, I just lost it at them. And I probably shouldn't have. But
What'd you say?
I told him to shut up, sit down, or leave the cinema. And what I did, the reason I got so angry was because one of them, they were chucking popcorn boxes at each other. So we were kind of getting littered by a bit of popcorn. But my friend next to me, they'd obviously thrown a drink, and the entire drink, it was full, went all over my friend. And I was like, I lost it. I'm like, I am so sick of these guys. Lucky he had a jacket on and he had his hoodie on because he was just sick of getting hit in the head with popcorn. But the whole drink went in on his jacket, and it was like a Coke. So it was like a very, very, very strong smell. And I was like, are you kidding? I'm like, you've not only talked throughout this whole movie. I'm like, why are you here? And then you know what I did? I got so angry about it. I got up, I left the cinema, didn't care what the guys thought. I just told them that it was, I was going to the bathroom or something. I said to them, I'm going to one of my friends because I know who it is that's working today. And I went up to them. I said, these teenagers have been absolute hell throughout this movie. And I really want to watch Black Widow. Like, it's the first Marvel movie in 2 years. Like, come on. And I've been waiting for this for such a long time. And she came in, she gave him a talking to. And then as soon as she left, they started acting up again. And then she came during the credits when the movie ended, stayed there the whole time. They think it's hilarious to go down to the front of run down the stairs to the front of the screen, start jumping around like idiots, throwing popcorn at each other. And she came back, walked down the steps and told him to sit down. And she said, if you're here for and she was very stern, and she's like, sit down or leave the cinema right now. And they're like, oh, but there's a post-credit scene. We have to see the post-credit scene. She's like, there'll be no post-credit scene if you keep acting like that in my cinema. I was like, oh, come on. I was like, so good. And they shut up. They kept talking. But I was like, as soon as the post-credit scene came on, we were all shocked by what happened in it. And we were all like cheering that because we were like, oh, this is going to be such a cool continuation in the next TV show or whatever. But that annoyed me.
I would have, if I was there, I would have gladly told those kids to shut up, especially because of year sevens. I know that age. I know just by your description of what they've done, I can already imagine their tone and just everything. And that is one thing that annoys me in today's age of in today's kinds of teenagers. So I would have gladly, I wouldn't have like, gone too violent, but I would have told them,
Too violent.
please.
Nick is fronting up to the U7s. He's going to beat him up for ruining Black Widow.
Yeah, I would have gladly told them, shut up, just leave. If you're not going to let anyone else just enjoy the movie, just please, you come here for a reason. You're not at home. People paid to be here. They've been waiting 2 years for this. Just sit down and just shut up.
Yeah, that's what I would do. But you know what was really this is a very brief thing I'm just going to quickly say. This isn't a bad experience. This is a good experience. I loved this movie. But when I saw Aquaman for the second time in cinemas, I saw it once on Boxing Day, and then my friend came over for a sleepover the next day. So he's like, "Oh, let's go see a movie." And we saw Aquaman again because I loved it so much. And I said to him, and then the scene at the end where Mera and Aquaman kiss for the first time, and it's like really prolonged. There's this little kid who's like 5 years old, and he goes, "Ew," really loudly, and all of us just lost our shit. It was so funny. Oh my God, it was so funny.
Yeah, the kiss is already like 20 seconds long.
Yeah, I know. And I was
in a scene where people are dying all around them, and they take 20 seconds to have a smooch.
Yeah, that was weird. But yeah. But one of the nicest things I've ever been told in the cinema, when I went to the Rocket Man sing-along, I knew all the songs. I knew how Taron Egerton sung them. I'd been listening to the soundtrack over and over, and I sung it because I was the only one. Obviously, these people hadn't seen the movie yet. So they'd signed up for a sing-along, and I'm the only one singing in the whole cinema that's like packed. I'm like, oh, great, whatever. And there's this old couple that's next to me and say that I'm alone. And at the end of the movie, because I've sung the whole movie, they came up to me and they've gone, they're like, "Were you the one that was singing?" I said, "Yeah, I'm sorry." But I said, "I'm at a sing-along." So I was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to. I hope I didn't, interrupt your experience." And they're like, no, you actually sing really well. They said, "You actually really sung. We actually liked listening to you sing the songs in this movie." Yeah. They were like, I don't know, late 60s, early 70s. Like they were really nice.
People are too kind. Majority of them are too kind.
They were really nice. And I was like, wow, thank you. I thought I was ruining the movie for everybody. But they're like, no. We kept looking over to see if you were singing. And we actually were liking how you were singing it. Well, you know how to sing. And I was like, oh, this is so sweet. I was like, thank you. I was like, oh, that's so nice. And all my friends, when I went and saw Bohemian Rhapsody and there was a sing-along for that, I can't sing Freddie Mercury, but I didn't sing any of the high notes, obviously, because I can't hit them. But I was like singing the low notes, and my friend that I went with gone, "Damn, you can sing?" I was like, "Thanks. Yes, I can." So yeah, that's what I loved about sing-alongs. No one really cares. And but yeah, damn. I'm just missing the cinemas so much.
Yeah, I just want to go back.
But I really, really, really want to see the Suicide Squad in cinemas, even if it's just once. If it's open for a week, I just want to see it once. Just once. But I think for my 18th this year, I'm doing a private screening, and I'm inviting you and Film Club and my drama class and other friends that I know. We're going to go see No Time to Die in the new Bond film. In December.
Lockdown doesn't push anything again.
No Time to Die can't afford to be pushed anymore because they've used all their budget. Anything they've pushed it as far as they can. And they need to make, I think, either a $500 million or $600 million box office numbers to get a profit.
I don't think they could reach there, but they'll make a lot. Hopefully.
So they're going to lose a lot of money on this because they've been delaying it so much. So they delayed it from like November 2019 or like April 2019. They shouldn't have done. Same thing with Top Gun. They shouldn't have touched those two movies and just left them at their release dates, and it would have been out. It would have been done.
I remember that. Even though this movie was bad, Wonder Woman 1984 was scheduled for November 2019, and they had the movie finished before then and everything, but I don't know why they delayed it to
had
June
to do
of next year.
Reshoots.
Oh, reshoots. And then that, of course, that caused it to get constantly delayed until it hit the December release.
That's why the opening mall scene's in it. Because what's it called? Patty Jenkins, the director of Wonder Woman 1984, couldn't choose whether to, like, the WB said, "We want to cut a couple of scenes out of the movie. It's way too long." And I'm like to myself, "Oh, that's terrible."
I don't even like
interference.
That mall scene.
Yeah. And then she's gone and she fought back against WB and said, "No, I can't choose between the two openings, between the Olympics, the Amazon Olympics or whatever, and the mall scene." So she put both in. I'm like, both scenes meant barely anything to the movie. So I was like, you should have just gotten rid of both of them. Like you should have just opened with, Diana Prince just grieving about Steve Trevor.
Yeah.
Like that would have been fine. That would have been a great opening, actually. But yeah, I'm just so sick of Warner Brothers interfering with movies. I'm so sick of it. It's ridiculous. And then they complain that they have to re-release movies to fulfill the director's vision. Maybe don't stuff it up in the first place. Like, really, who looks at Justice League and goes, "Oh, that's much better than what you were creating"? Like, we've all seen Justice League and Zack Snyder's Justice League. It is so clear which movie is better. I'm like,
what person looks at Flash falling on Wonder Woman's boobs and then looks at Darkseid, a good CGI Darkseid, and go, "Yeah, I'm gonna go with this Flash scene."
Yeah.
How did they think that was all right?
I don't know. I personally, okay, unpopular opinion. I think Darkseid's CGI was better than Thanos. I'm just saying it. Don't judge me.
That's all right. It's just that Thanos was more human, not human-like. But he moved a lot more,
had more details.
Yeah.
But damn, if Zack Snyder's Justice League does not get Oscar nominated for visual effects. Same thing with Cruella. If that doesn't win Best Costume Design,
it's definitely going to get nominated. Surely,
it'll definitely get nominated for Best Costume Design. But I want it to win because that looked incredible. But back to cinemas. I think the final thing we're probably going to talk about today. What movie have you seen the most in cinemas? Have you seen anything over one time?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes. I think the one movie I've seen the most in cinemas was Endgame. And just keep in mind, I don't go to the cinemas as much as I would love to.
Yeah.
So I've only seen Endgame, I think 3 times. So it's 3 times in cinemas.
Yeah, I saw it 3 times.
First time was the first time. Second time was the view, and the third time was when they re-released it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's stuff I've seen twice.
I completely forgot about the Endgame re-release. Sorry, I'll get back to you. I completely forgot about the Endgame re-release.
That's all right.
That was just a cash grab to get Avatar, and then Avatar re-released because of COVID, and then it beat it again. I
feel like in 5 years they're gonna like release Endgame, and be like, "Oh, we did it for 5 years." Go see it.
Yeah. But what's it called? When Endgame came out, we all knew that there was going to be unfinished deleted scenes, and there was going to be a sneak peek at Far From Home, which literally was coming out the following week. It wasn't worth it because the movie was coming out next week.
When I saw it, I literally, when I saw the re-release of Endgame, they included a sneak peek for Far From Home, which literally Australian time was releasing in like
4 days,
3 days, 4 days time.
Yeah, I thought that was really stupid. They only had it for that week. 4 days because they had it on the Saturday and the Sunday, and then they didn't play it. But because I was working on both those days, we were like, all right, well, we have to clean the cinema because all the extra stuff was coming after the credits of Endgame. So we went in getting ready to clean in case everyone left and just didn't stick around for everything. But we got to watch the just the end bits of like what they re-released, and we were like, wow, thank God we didn't buy tickets to go see that. People paid money to go see that. People
paid for a just old clips as a tribute, which it's fair enough.
The tribute to Stan Lee was nice. I admit that was nice.
It's nice, but it's like it's a good tribute.
Yeah.
But that's the longest thing they even had. They bring in a 30-second long, unfinished, terrible delete scene. I actually thought, I didn't read that they were gonna put all this stuff at the end, so I thought somewhere throughout the movie they were just gonna put in that deleted scene.
Oh, and you thought it was like an extended cut. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Like no, not extended, but I thought it was gonna be extended just by putting that one deleted scene.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
All right, back to what we were saying. What movies have you seen the most at the cinemas?
I saw Endgame. I told you.
Oh, only Endgame is the one that you've seen the most. Okay.
Well, no. I saw Force Awakens twice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I saw Rogue One. No, I did not see it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Solo twice.
Yep.
I saw Shazam twice.
Yep.
I saw.
You saw Toy Story 4 twice because we went together for like.
Oh yeah,
Toy
Story 4 twice.
we went and saw Toy Story 4 the second time because it was coming to the end of its run, and they were $5 tickets, and it was like 10:30 in the morning. It was like perfect. We still have the day.
Yes, and it's the
So
last
good.
time we would have seen that on the screen, so it's like, might as well make it good.
Yeah.
And yeah,
It
other
was
than that,
cheap too, so why
yeah,
not?
Endgame. That's it.
Yeah. I've
What about
seen
you?
movies. This is more Force Awakens when I saw it. The first time I saw it, I didn't choose to go. I didn't want to know the sequel trilogy. I didn't want any bar of it. But my uncle, we went up to Brisbane, I think. Yeah, Brisbane. And he said, "Come on, I'm going to take you to the movies." And I'm like, okay. Took our whole family, bought us all tickets for Star Wars Force Awakens. I was like, oh, fantastic. Great. And this was because I hadn't had a Star Wars movie since 2012 because of the re-release of Phantom Menace. And I wasn't into Star Wars anymore. I'd moved on to like X-Men and Spider-Man and Batman and all that kind of thing. But then I watched Force Awakens, and how it ended, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a Star Wars fan, like immediately again. And we went out, we bought all the magazines. We went to like Woolworths or something and bought all magazines
I
that were
remember.
related to Star Wars.
Yeah,
And
I
then
remember having an unhealthy. Oh, sorry, you go.
no, you say it.
I remember having a very unhealthy obsession with the Force Awakens for like the next year, because when I got it on Blu-ray in April of 2016, that I think this is why I think that the Force Awakens is the movie that I've watched the most. When I got that Blu-ray, that was like the only movie I watched for the next few months. Like when I went to go see Suicide Squad, when I was even in that theater, I was thinking of the Force Awakens, and I think that might have affected how I saw the movie, because actually the next day I popped that disc in and just watched the whole movie again. I loved at that time. I was just super obsessed with that movie. I loved it so much.
I still love it,
And yeah,
even though Last Jedi isn't great, and you don't personally like Rise of Skywalker, which is fine.
I like Force
I
Awakens less, but I still love it, and it's
Yeah,
still
it's still a
like
good movie.
it's personal to me.
If
Because
if you watch it as a movie just by itself, it's actually a pretty good
it's
movie.
good.
Even though people say it's like a rip-off of New Hope or whatever, it's still a decent film. Whereas like Last Jedi, personally, you can love it, you can hate it. We'll talk about it another episode about Star Wars. But yeah, I don't know. But for me, I've seen movies. I think I've seen about 5 movies. The most. They're all tied. I was gonna do it with Suicide Squad and beat my high score of how many times I've seen a movie in the cinema. But I saw Force Awakens 4 times because I loved it, and I was just immediately like, okay, I want to see it in 3D. I want to see it with a couple more friends. I want to see it with mum again. And we did. So we saw that 4 times. Rocket Man, I saw 4 times. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through. Knives Out surprised me because of how many people wanted to go see it. I saw an advanced screening of it a couple of months before it came out, and then saw it with a friend after work because he was just at Southland, had nothing to do. So like, all right, let's go see Knives Out. Then I saw it with a friend of mine who came over for another sleepover. And then I saw it again just by myself because I liked it. So that was lucky. And then the last movie I've seen 4 times is The Rise of Skywalker, because I saw that twice on release date. So I saw the opening session, not midnight because I couldn't go, but I saw like the 8 o'clock session in the morning. Then I already had booked tickets for the time after. So thank God I enjoyed it. So I saw it twice, then went to IMAX in the January, and then also saw it with a friend of mine as well. So yeah, I've seen about 4 movies 4 times. Was hoping that the new Suicide Squad movie came out because about 6 different groups of people had organized it with me. And I couldn't see it with even one of them. So a bit disappointed there. But hopefully when cinemas reopen, there's a film I'm able to do to go and see 5 times, even though my mum thinks that's completely insane. Yeah, I think those were my, most watched films in the cinema.
Nice.
One last thing before we wrap up, I want to ask if you could choose any movie at all, past, present, not future, because we don't know whether it's going to be good or not. What movie would you choose to see in the biggest screen? Let's say you've got free tickets to an IMAX session. You can be with friends, anyone you want, or by yourself, whatever you want. And you got to choose one movie to watch on that massive IMAX screen. What would you choose? I already know my answer.
Wow.
I know.
I might say, I was thinking, Well, it has to be. I guess I'll go with the. Let me just quickly look through
Do
to
you
make
want me
sure
to
I'm
say mine while you're
100%.
looking?
Actually, now I think I got it. I would probably choose The Dark Knight just because I'm thinking about
Ooh,
it. It has to be. I'm like, okay, it can't be. It can be, but it has to be a movie that has to be memorable. It has to be loud sounds. Has to look cool. And
IMAX
so
scenes as well. You got to think they had IMAX
yeah,
sequences, so it looked great.
yeah. So
Um,
yeah, I would say that.
nice choice.
What would you choose? What
Um,
would you choose?
even though it's my favorite movie of all time, I didn't love it when I first saw it, but now
Blade Runner
I adore
2049.
it. Blade Runner 2049, specifically because of how beautiful that movie looks. Like, damn, everything about that movie is just fantastic. Like, I know you haven't seen, like, have you seen Blade Runner 1?
Yes, don't remember
Okay,
much about it though.
that's okay. You don't really need to know much. Just watch the sequel when you can. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think I'd choose Blade Runner 2049 because it is such a visual experience. Like the music's fantastic as well. And the movie isn't fast paced, but it isn't too slow to be like on board. It actually just has a good mystery throughout it. So you got to kind of pay attention. Really, with Blade Runner 2049, to fully appreciate it, you can't have any distractions because something is revealed very subtly every minute. And that's why I love it. I just think it's such a good movie. But yeah, that's what I'd choose. But
nice.
is there anything else that you want to talk about that's related to cinemas?
Um,
I don't think I have anything else.
I understand there's COVID, but please, easy with the streaming, man.
What do you mean?
Stop.
Oh, like
Don't
HBO
throw.
Max and stuff.
Yeah, I know you don't. I know that these are tough times, but don't throw everything to
Oh,
streaming,
so
especially
like
like
getting rid of like the
Dune.
Suicide Squad. Oh, Dune is
Yeah,
going because it's HBO Max. I understand
I know
HBO
it's gonna
Max
HBO
because then
Max.
I know that I understand why they're doing HBO Max because they're getting a lot more money in a time where you
Yeah,
can't get the money. And I know it's annoying, but I get it. But I feel like movies like the Suicide Squad um, and other films that are being delayed, that are being just thrown on um, streaming services like iTunes and Amazon. Um, it just and like not letting it go to cinemas. I feel like that's just come on, just delay the movie to another time. Like, come on,
yeah,
not fair. But I guess that's the world we live in. We have to adapt to it. I guess.
yep. And
Hopefully, we can see the movies in the future.
yeah, and Venom 2's moved up by 2 weeks, which I do not care.
Venom's moved up. I thought it was
Yeah.
still
Oh well,
November
no, no,
25.
not for Australia, for the rest of the world.
Oh
It's
yeah, so
moved up
they,
two
they
weeks.
they get it October 1. We get it November 25. Like I don't care, it's
I mean,
Venom, but like
I don't care,
still,
but that sucks.
it's still so annoying that those kind of release dates, like French Dispatch, Dune, uh, Last Night in Soho, and Spider-Man: No Way Home are the four movies. Oh, sorry, and No Time to Die. They're the five movies that I am most excited about for the rest of the year. If any of
Yeah,
them get moved into 2022, I'm not going to be happy. Not going to be happy.
yeah.
So I don't know.
I understand that they have to like plan ahead and decide whether or not this a current lockdown or variant could affect a release date.
Yeah.
But sometimes I do feel like they think of it, they jump to conclusions too quickly and delay it especially by a lot.
What, the
Like
movie studios or our premiere?
um
Because the movie studios
I
make
don't know.
the movie studios make the choice of whether a movie gets
Yeah,
delayed, not the premiere.
yeah. If it's that, then them, because I
Yeah,
understand that there's a whole lockdown and everything, but let's say we're in lockdown now at the beginning of September, and a movie is not coming out till the end of October. And right now, plans are for lockdown to end on
the
the
end of
start of
October
October.
sometime. And oh no,
Yeah, but yeah,
that's more reach. I think that's for reaching a goal with the 70% of Victoria being
yeah. But
vaccinated. But then yeah,
if we did go out of lockdown sooner, I just feel like they pushed it a bit too fast. Like from October, from where lockdown could end, if that is when it ended, then that's the way to open up. But I feel like they pushed it back. They'll push it back by a month and a bit.
I feel like they
And
should have
even
done
if,
what they did with
yeah,
Tenet, not set a release date for Australia only, but just keep it,
what,
get
yeah,
send the films to the cinemas. Like fair enough, send it to them, but don't show it until Like, so then it feels like as soon as the movies open again, there's so many more movies to see, if you know what I mean. So let's say hypothetically, Venom comes out October 1 in Australia, and that was the original release date, but we're still in lockdown. Send the movie to Australian cinemas, and then let's say we open it back up in December. The movie's still there. We can start playing it then. We don't need to change release dates multiple times for Australia. I just feel like just give the movies to the cinemas, let them take care of it until we get out of lockdown, because it's so unpredictable and it's just so annoying seeing all these movies being pushed for no reason. It just makes us more angry that we're
too far.
Yeah, it's way too far. Like I know Top Gun, Mission Impossible 7 are all because of, they're not, I know Top Gun's been done for a while, but I understand that that's the movie studios, like that's the whole world. That's fair enough. But movies like French Dispatch and Venom that have been pushed, it's just annoying.
Some movies in like December for us were pushed to January.
Oh, but that's normal. That's normal because that's normal because US movies. So let me explain for this year.
Just for Australia, not for
for Australia. No, sorry, I meant for the US. The US you get a lot of movies really earlier than Australia, usually a month earlier. So let's say, for example, Peanut Butter Falcon, a couple years ago, really underrated movie. If you haven't seen it, go on Amazon Prime. It's free. It's fantastic. That came out late January 31st, 2020 for Australia. In the US, I think that movie came out in August or July. So we get a lot of movies that are like Oscar bait. It's like movies like Little Women, Promising Young Woman, all those movies come in. Yeah, 1917. They all come in January for us when usually they come December, November for others, for US.
That I understand, but like that kind of makes me upset.
Yeah. But I guess, now I have no idea what they're going to do. I don't know what the reasoning behind it, so I can't explain it. But yeah. Anyway, I think we're probably going to wrap this up because it's been a long episode. But I just want to say thank you so much to everyone for tuning in to episode 3 of the Kiers Reviews podcast. It's nice to be back again. Just one more time for our Spotify listeners, you can listen to full-length episodes on YouTube on my account, Kiers Reviews. We will announce when we're coming back to Spotify, which is hopefully soon. But thank you once again to Nick's Film Reviews for joining me on the podcast.
Thanks for being here. Thank you for having me.
No worries. We'll both see you next week. So this is Kiers Reviews and Nick's Film Reviews signing off for now.